Hi, welcome back to cyclingphysio.com. In this video we're talking about Gluteus Maximus. Now hopefully by now you're starting to get the point with some of these videos that this isn't really about strengthening Gluteus Maximus, because you can't strengthen a muscle that doesn't work properly. What we're doing here is actually getting Gluteus Maximus to fire properly so that you can actually go about strengthening it. Honestly, strengthening is the easy part, alright? So we're going to just jump right into it. Now I apologize to those of you at home who are offended by overly pale people, but I have to take my shirt off so you can see what to do properly. So what you've got to do is you find the edge of your bed at home. Now if the edge of the bed is too soft, you can just do this on the floor. What we're going to be looking at is sort of straightening the leg out. But I really like to be able to be here so I can just dangle the leg and lift a very straight, not completely straight, but a dangling, relaxed leg. And you'll see why in a minute. So the reason I'm taking my shirt off is you've got to look at what's going on in your back. Most of you are going to set up too flat, too rounded through here. And that's not the best way to do this exercise. That has lots of negative ramifications on your posture and your back pain, but that's for another day. What I want to see is the back in a neutral position. Okay, so that means bringing the pelvis forward, kind of sticking your bum up in the air, and creating that little pocket in the bottom of the back. Okay, it doesn't have to be extreme. Okay, and I certainly don't want to see this part of the back arching either. That part's supposed to curve forward. It's just a forward rocking of the pelvis to the midway point. If you don't know where the midway point is, go as far as it'll go that way, as far as it'll go that way, settle somewhere in the middle. Okay. Now everybody always is talking about core stability, and to tell you the truth, it kind of drives me nuts. I guess you need a bit of core stability through here, but more than that you need core coordination. And what I'm talking about is when you get into the actual exercise, you're going to be lifting the leg up here. So as you go to shift your weight and straighten this knee before you go to lift it, I don't want to see you losing your position in your back. Okay, you should imagine that grapefruit holding here in your back. The grapefruit shouldn't roll away when you go to have all your weight on one leg. You need to be able to hold your back in a steady position. If you can't, then we've got to work with a bunch of core coordination and stability exercises before you can even get to this. So again, we shift over and now you just let the leg relax. The point of the exercise is to lift the leg up behind you. And you can't see, but I'm keeping my knee relatively straight. There's a small bend to it. And I'm trying to keep my thigh as relaxed as possible. Okay? Now, when you do this, what we want to look for is there will be a point somewhere before you get right to the top, most likely, where you really feel the hamstring start to contract and start to hold, and really start to hold the weight of the leg. You're no longer able to keep your thigh nice and relaxed. The hamstring back here really starts to tighten up. What that is the point where your glute can no longer produce the movement in isolation, and the hamstring comes in to help. Okay? Now those of you with really tight hamstrings, that's likely to happen very early in the motion. Now the other thing is it takes a bit of a keen eye to see this, but what will also happen at the point where people hit that threshold is their back is going to start arching more. And the thing is a lot of people with tight hamstrings also have back pain. If you can't produce movements from here and you start using this, the hamstring doesn't have enough leverage, so you have to use your back muscles as well. So instead of the glute acting in isolation, you get a co-contraction of hamstring and low back muscles, and that is a major part of people with chronic low back pain. So what we look for when we do the exercise is a slow, and I mean slow, lift, because you're concentrating on what you're feeling. Now you're not going to feel a big burning sensation in the glute of fatigue and lactic acid. Gluteus maximus, even when it doesn't work very well, is still a very strong muscle. This isn't anywhere nearly enough work to get good fatigue through here. Focus instead on where is the point where my hamstring starts to jump in. So let's pretend that it's right there, okay? So that's my threshold. You know, beyond that I'm losing good form through my back and my hamstring's really burning. So if I back off just a hair, at that point now I don't feel the hamstring anymore at all, okay? That's where you want to hold, and you hold there for 10 seconds. During that 10 seconds, I really want you to focus on the glute and see if you can get a little bit more of a squeeze, tighten that glute up as hard as you can, but make sure your hamstring isn't doing any work. If it is, lower your leg even further, okay? You want to finish 10 of those 10 seconds each. And as you progress with the exercise, you should be able to get higher and higher and higher up to the point where you can fully straighten the hip right to there with no activity of the hamstring whatsoever. Okay?